notch a bit at the tops of the posts for the 6x2 to sit in, but I want them to stand parallel just a little bit so they're not flush. I want it to stand parallel maybe about 10 mil. I think what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to square the end of these posts off because they've just been cut with a chainsaw by the looks of it. Okay, so I've got the post standing up. What I did is I worked out the height on which I want my 6x2 to start, which is right there. So I stuck a screw in it so I could rest one end of my 6x2 on that screw, and at the other end I could stand on a set of steps with my 6x2, put a level across the top of the 6x2. Once I had it level, I was able to mark on this post, and I've done the same with that end. Now I know that when I notch out for my 6x2 on these posts and I put the post back up erect and everything, I know that this roof is going to be bang on level. So the 6x2, as you can see, is actually 45mm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my saw to 35mm. My miter saw isn't quite big enough to come forward enough. This has only come to about 33mm. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm just going to use the skill saw. I'm going to set the depth on there to 35mm, and then we'll do this with all three of these posts. Okay, so I notched out the post. Now obviously this is a corner post, so I've had to do both sides, one side and the other side, so like the front and the edge. Okay, so I've got the post notched out, ready for the piece of timber to go across there. I don't know what it's called. I'm going to call it a roof plate. I'm not a roofer, as you can tell. A little bit nicer if this piece of timber and that piece of timber is mitered rather than just butted up to each other. Okay, so we've got our roof beam across there, but I'll show you what I mean by mitre on it. I put a little mitre on the edge of that beam here, which will obviously follow through to the next one along there. Mitered that joint. I just think that looks better, because if you just butt join them, you'll just see that gap down the middle there, especially as the timber starts to shrink and dry, that gap will open up. Okay, so the next step is I want to work out the pitch of the roof, and I'm quite happy with this pitch. If I take my spirit level and I draw a plumb line straight down the middle of that, I can then use my speed square and work out the exact angle. So now I've got my plumb line, hold my speed square up to it until we match up with the plumb line, which is there. And if you can see that without it moving, it's sitting at number 7. There's a conversion chart on my one, which is quite handy. Okay, so what I've done here is I've set these two pieces of timber out the same distance apart as those timbers on the gazebo up there. I've cut my two angled rafters and I've just temporarily joined them together in the middle, put that temporarily across there just as a brace so it holds its angle, and I've dropped it on top of these two timbers. So now I know exactly where to cut out the notch. Obviously I've got a ridge beam that goes in the middle here, so what I'll do is I'll just offer this piece of timber up there. I'll mark down either side of it and cut those ends off. I'll cut those notches out where they rest on the beams there, and then these will basically be my templates for every other rafter I put up. And we've got the majority of the roof structure done, all the hard stuff is done, all the working out, the mathematics and whatnot. Still just got to get some more rafters in here. But it's about 28 degrees today and I am absolutely cooking. Some of these rafters here I've still got a notch out for, where it rests on the beam there. But that was just too difficult for me to work out that angle and that notch all in one go. So I figured if I could just get that screwed up at that end, then I can mark this afterwards and I'll take them up again, cut the notches out. But yeah, it's really starting to take shape. I think what I might have to do This beam here I've got going straight through. I think I'm going to put another one of these on the other side of the post so that looks uniform, and I'm probably going to put another one slap bang in the middle of each of these as well, just because when I get up on that roof, that's going to want to spread, the whole thing is going to want to spread with the weight of me. So I thought I should probably do a quick video on how I'm coming up with these cuts, because obviously they're not as straightforward. I'm getting that angle, which is my 22.5 mil, in order to get that angle, but then of course because it's coming off this corner beam 45 degrees the other way as well. So if I show you on the saw, so we'll take this saw, we'll move at the 22.5, which is there, and then we have to tip it 45 degrees as well, and that's how we get our angle cut for that beam.